The college football experience national championship invitational reaction show on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting research platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com. Use that promo code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and start making smarter bets today, people. And remember, as always, folks, too, let it ride.
Hey, this is Derek Stevens. I'm the owner of Circa Las Vegas. You're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
What'd you do? Did you do that? Boom. Yes. Woo! Welcome to the college football experience national championship invitational reaction show. And we have a invitational champion, and it is Jim Harbaugh and the Michigan Wolverines. Shout out to them. Congrats
on a fucking, great story arc,
Oh, yeah.
The Golden Boy comes back and gets
the Hollywood
it done.
screenwriters nailed it.
That's right.
They fucking nailed
That's
it. We're going to talk all about it, folks. If you're wondering who the hell you're listening to, that's fair. My name is Colby Swinging Database Dan, a.k.a. Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
Nobody knows nothing. Somebody knows. Double the price, but no one touches Dundee.
Woohoo! I mean, if I can be honest, kind of thought that game was boring as fuck. I think that's kind of when you put it in a dome.
It doesn't help.
But
It doesn't help.
you know what I mean? Yeah. Shout out to Michigan, though. I am joined by my co-host. Give it up for former JMU Duke defensive back, the burrito eating, sideline kiss stealing, wheeling and dealing, Patty C in the place to be.
Hi-oh.
Let's get it going.
Yeah, buddy.
Let's fucking get it going.
Yeah, buddy. I mean,
Let's open this, by the way. Hold on. Let's open
What do
this.
we got?
I want to shout out. Yeah, bring your little glass over here. Look at this right now. Let's do a little close zoom up here. We got this
turn it around
fantastic.
there.
I can't
there
do
you go.
this
What
thing.
is that thing called?
Let me go back to the main. This is Snake River Stampede whiskey. It is absolutely fantastic from the Rose City Distilling.
That'll put some hair on the old chest. It sounds
Dean
like.
Ufford. I might be butchering your name, Dean. My apologies. He sent us this to celebrate a great year, and it was a great year.
Well, how appropriate is that? Wasn't it Bob Ufer that was the legendary Michigan announcer for so long?
Oh, there you
The
go.
voice of Michigan, Dean Ufer, comes
Getting
in,
it done.
sends us some whiskey to celebrate this national championship
Shout
victory.
out to that, and Dean, we appreciate it. And everyone, if you're in Oregon, I highly recommend that you stop by Rose City Distilling. And here we go.
Well, let's
Here
try
we go.
this out.
Cheers, man. It's
Cheers,
a great
brother.
year. Great year. Yeah. Oh, that's smooth.
That's fucking smooth as shit.
That's smooth.
Yeah.
That's smooth like a veteran hooker right there.
That's right.
That is just whew.
Just does all the work for
You
you.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're home. Folks. And shout out. We got Dean in the chat too. Appreciate that. And shout out to Weehawk. Shout out to everybody, really. Let's talk about this game, because I'm just gonna go ahead and say from the start, and Michigan fans are gonna hate me, but here at SGPN, we
call it like we see.
yes, this is a co-national championship with Florida State. It really is. It really is.
So
Florida State didn't play in the bowl game.
Michigan's last one.
Florida State team we saw this year did not play in the bowl game. So this is a co-national
Right.
championship. Not Michigan's fault, but you got to say co-national
Their
championship.
last one in '97 was a co-national.
That was a
championship
co-national
with
championship
Nebraska.
too. Yeah.
So between those two, they've had one full national championship in the last 70 years.
Yeah.
Congrats to Michigan.
Yes. Shout out to Michigan. I'm a Jim Harbaugh fan. So as much as I bet on Washington, I'm not upset by any means.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Come on. I mean, this is fucking great.
Yeah.
This is fucking great.
I like Jim Harbaugh. He's great for college football. I hope he stays in college football. I hope he doesn't go to the NFL.
Yeah.
I hope the NCAA realizes that, hey, if we keep suspending him, one of the better brands, like Harbaugh sells.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing are they okay with throwing away that because they hate Harbaugh legitimately?
The NCAA is a fucking mess. Yes. And they are going to do that because they don't give a shit. They're never doing the right thing. But yeah, it's a co-national championship. It's not Michigan's fault they didn't play Florida State. And it's not Florida State's fault they didn't get to play in the invitational. So,
and look, we were talking about it. Let's be honest. Okay. Florida State with Tate Rodemaker, who didn't even play in the bowl game.
2-0. He's actually 2-0.
Put up pretty good stats this year.
Yeah.
Had a better quarterback rating than Jordan Travis. That said, they weren't going to hang with Georgia with him at the helm.
But they weren't going to play Georgia.
They probably wouldn't have played Georgia. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like that shouldn't even be in a part of the.
That's true. They could have hung with any team that was in the playoff if they were allowed in. And
I think Florida State deserves a shot. There was this good, I mean, look, shout out to Michigan getting this done. But at the same time, it's almost like last year. I feel like the team that played the easiest schedule won the national championship.
Yeah. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
And Michigan deserves all the credit. They had Harbaugh for like 3 fucking games, but they also should have played UCLA in like week 2 or 3. They canceled that game. But tonight's game, I thought from the start, Washington fucked up. They deferred. I think you need to take the ball and go down the field and score and put the pressure on Michigan right away.
Yeah.
Then obviously they were not used to that rushing attack.
Yeah.
So the
Michigan is very comfortable playing from in front. They're not very comfortable playing from behind.
I thought that was a critical fucking mistake from the start.
Yeah.
Now at the same time, Michigan was averaging like 30 yards a rush. I feel like in the first half or the first quarter.
Yeah.
And they should have been up way more. They should have been up way more. Michigan deserved to win this game.
Yeah.
They deserve to win this game.
Not only because Michigan played pretty good football in a lot of aspects, not all aspects, but they played pretty good football, but also because Washington deserved to lose this game.
100%.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I will say this. Would have liked to see the game without that holding call on the most critical catch where it was going to get interesting.
Yeah. He just did the underlay and they called the
like I have no problem when you call a game and you let them play, which it seemed like was happening. Right. It seemed like it was happening. There was a hold in the first half. I thought clear on Michigan on when Washington was rushing the line. Also in the secondary. But I'm okay with that. But you can't take away that big ass play on a soft ass holding penalty like that.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's a little the let them play thing kind of doesn't work in this situation either because Washington is dependent on their passing game. And if you're letting Michigan rough up the Washington receivers, which they were the entire game, getting away with a lot of contact,
a lot of fucking contact.
But Washington,
I prefer my football that way.
Yeah,
but it's just not accurate to the way they've been calling it all year. Would be my problem. But but you were right. You were spot on your analysis last week.
I thought Washington would score more points, but was Michigan going to get the favorable calls? Yes. What is sexy about Washington? No one can name anything that's sexy about Washington. So and
tailgating.
That's right. Michigan has a whole story arc with Harbaugh and like the winningest program of all times, et cetera, the helmets, everyone. A lot of people haven't seen Michigan win a championship in their lifetimes at this point. I think a lot of people probably wanted to see that they were going to get the calls. And then late in the game, yes, the interception finally happened. Michigan was able to generate a pass rush and drop a lot of defensive backs. And lo and behold, Penix was bothered.
He was 100%. He was bothered. Michigan was the better team today. I don't want to just say that call was the difference in the game. Right. But I just think it was a huge moment where momentum could have built for Washington. Right. You complete that, you're down, you're in scoring range or, at least field goal range, you're down 7 and it was a great spot for him. And I thought the call was weak based on the way they were calling the game.
Super weak.
I thought it was really weak.
Yeah. Michigan got away with a lot of holds. Michigan
was the better team, but at the same time, when you dive into the stats, stats can sometimes lie because Michigan was Pretty. What were I saying before the game? Like Michigan outgained Washington, but they were still. First off, Washington had more first downs, which is hilarious. Michigan was 1 of 11 on 3rd and 4th down. It's amazing you can win a national championship going 1 of 11 on 3rd and 4th down, while Washington was 4 of 19.
Yeah. Washington just didn't convert. Penix was
it missed that open guy. I missed a Dundee. What was that on the
first or second quarter? Yeah.
That should have been a touchdown. But hey, I mean, Michigan's D line was causing havoc on Washington's O line, which was deemed the best in the nation. I did think what was going on towards the end there. I felt like they didn't get the snap counts right.
Well, Michigan's crowd was apparently bigger, and that was a real problem. It sounded like, I don't know if the clap is the loudest way to generate a noise that indicates to the offensive line that it's time to go, but it wasn't loud enough because they were either false starting or they were dead in the water because Michigan would have such a head start on, like, the offensive tackles obviously aren't looking at the ball when it snapped, and so, like, who is that? Number 73. That guy got dragged through the mud on some of those calls. I thought unfairly. But yeah, I mean, on one of those where he got the holding at the end of the game, the guy was already behind him by the time he even realized.
Well, that was the hold that was accurate.
Yeah, that's true.
That was the hold that was accurate. That was really a hold. Yeah, I mean, it feels like Michigan won the game in the first quarter, but hung on for dear life because I don't think they were super impressive in the second, third, and fourth. Maybe mid second.
Yeah.
Second half, I didn't think they were that impressive. That's why I say the game was. It just was kind of boring. Yeah. I mean, I know last year was TCU and Georgia 65-7 or something. Yeah.
Well, that was more boring.
That was more boring, but I mean, both games are boring. I don't know. Like, this was a close game, but it was boring. Right. I don't know how else to explain it. We found ourselves fucking watching fucking Forrest Gump shit. You know what I mean? Like, we were watching it, but we were watching the game. We were pulling up shit on our phones, stuff like that. It was a little boring. Sorry, welcome to UAB. I believe it was a little boring. I think that something about a game in a dome also is just naturally boring.
It wasn't that bad. I mean, the game was within a touchdown
compared to the Rose Bowl.
Sure,
just way better.
Yeah, much better.
Everything looks better.
A much tighter game.
Yeah.
Michigan really wasn't that threatened at any point.
Look, I don't hate defense. I enjoyed Washington's adjustments. You're welcome to UAB saying boring. No, it was just really, I just don't enjoy. I don't want to say it was. Do you find it boring? Am I fucking crazy?
Well, I think it was the lack of competitiveness by Washington. The inability to make the play to threaten Michigan. It felt like at all times Michigan was kind of in control of that game, which of course is a little bit boring.
Yeah. SEC. No, it was ACC refs, I believe. Welcome to UAB saying I loved all the defense I saw. Yeah, I mean, I liked seeing Washington's adjustments. They were so much better against the run the second half.
Yeah.
Had they started that way, we would have a different champion probably. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the problem is it was the hay was out of the barn, as they say.
Hello.
You're already down 17-3.
Well, you know what happened is Donovan Edwards came out of fucking hiding. And
shout out to CJ Sullivan, the bet detective who gave us that prop. We took the over on that.
Nice.
That's something in the so
they have that Michigan generated 3 of the 4 longest runs in college football playoff national championship history between I don't know if it was the longest touchdown runs, but the stat they had earlier was the 240+ yard runs by Donovan Edwards, and then Blake Corum had a 59-yard run himself that didn't end up in a touchdown, but still. They were going off on him in the first quarter there.
Virtual in the chat says, my wife got laid twice. Boring game. Yeah, you're
hopefully
right.
By you.
Yeah. Fair. Now, the props. I think I did pretty fucking decent on the props with the exception of the quarterbacks. Both quarterbacks did not go over, but I was right on the under on Dillon Johnson. And I also West over the tight end hit the over.
Him getting dinged up the first play of the game was also like, okay,
yeah,
that's anticlimactic.
Dillon Johnson, yeah.
Dillon Johnson, yeah.
Donovan Edwards over, we cashed on. Loveland over, we cashed on. Wilson over, we cashed on. We did not hit on Cornelius Johnson, so I think 4-3 on the prop front. It looked like Johnson had like 2 catches for 20 yards at like the first drive. And I was like, oh, we're good. No, 5 yards the rest of the game. Yeah, I mean, it was shout out to Jim Harbaugh. I thought the defense was phenomenal. Penix, obviously 27 of 51 is not great. The 2 picks, obviously one of those interceptions, I think was an interception. I don't know. We didn't have a good viewpoint.
I thought it was.
Yeah. I think it probably was.
Critical.
Yeah. I mean, that looked
First
really
play
painful.
of the second half.
That looked really fucking painful.
Yeah.
Because
the offensive lineman stepping on his ankle for like 5
that looked
seconds.
really painful as you're trying to just get rid of the ball because you're in pain. But yeah, I mean, what a fucking season here. Hang on, folks. We're going to talk more about this, but I want to tell you that the college football experience is brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL playoffs. Look, DraftKings is bringing you an offer that'll help make the playoffs. Well, let's just say electrifying. Because new customers can bet $5 on any game and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Whew. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook now, the app now, and use the promo code SGP. New customers can bet just $5 and get $200 instantly in bonus bets only on DraftKings Sportsbook. Once again, promo code SGP. The crown is yours, people. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.com/football for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources. We're also brought to you by Game Time. Look, buying tickets to your favorite event shouldn't be that stressful. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets for all sports, music, comedy, and theater that is near you, with killer deals on last-minute tickets and their best price guarantee. You can stop stressing over the tickets and start getting hyped for the fun you'll be having at that very event. All right. What are you doing, folks? Snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time. Perfect for the NFL playoffs or the college basketball. You know, as we head towards March Madness, go out and see some college hoops. All right. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use that promo code CFBX for $20 off your first purchase. Once again, terms apply. Create that account, redeeming code CFBX for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. And we're back, and we're celebrating Michigan National Championship. Now, Patty, see, my first thought, shout out to Jim Harbaugh. Is he back? What do you set the odds at?
40%, you know.
Yeah. And Brian Sanders says, Patty C called for the favorable calls for Michigan before the game even started. Good call, Patty. I appreciate the doubt.
That was a guarantee.
Yeah.
Come on.
I still think they were the better team, though. As much as I do think some of the biggest play in the game was a bullshit call.
Well, when they had like 159 rushing yards and 155 of them were before contact. That's called dominating.
One of the big plays in the first half, I think it was to the tight end, Loveland. I could be wrong. Was a clear fucking hold, and I was okay with it. I mean, look, it was holding. It was like a clear fucking hold, but I was okay because it seemed like they were not calling it. So to do that on and then call it on such a pivotal play, I thought was unfortunate. You know what I mean? It's like, because we've been watching the whole game and they were letting the DBs hold. They were letting the O-line hold a little bit. Even on both sides. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can't call that moment. But at the same time, Washington did not look like the better team today. And as much as I want to say the refs were bad, because I think they were.
Here's the thing, though. Yeah. Leverage in football is important, right? Like, you get flustered. Your play calling becomes more predictable when you're, in a more desperate situation. And so the refs, like, putting Washington in that spot just a little bit, does change the dynamic of the game, and it makes it harder for them to like operate and be less predictable. So I think it sucks for Washington, but we kind of knew that was that's part of college football, part of the NFL. It just is what it is. Unfortunately, brand names still play.
So the chat saying Harbaugh got his natty. Now he wants a Super Bowl. I just hope he comes back. I know the pending suspension looming suspension by the NCAA, but I just think, okay,
Tell me on why Harbaugh
should come
as
back.
a college football coach is more fun for the fans than him going to the NFL and pursuing a Super Bowl.
Well, because the NFL, like if he went to the Bears, I could understand it.
Yes, that'd be awesome.
That's like his, but him with the Chargers of the Raiders,
yeah.
First off, Harbaugh as a coach of a team in a dome doesn't work.
Yeah.
But also, I just believe that he with that look. So one of my flaws, or not my flaws, but I have flaws.
Really, only the Bears to me is the only team that I would be like, okay.
One of the only flaws I see in the like, I bitch on the show a lot. Obviously, I don't like the national championships at these corporate fucking factories.
Yeah.
Right. But college football has gotten so big time. It's such a moneymaker. You don't have the coaches stay the long haul. You don't have the identities that we grew up on.
Yeah.
Whether I can remember watching Tom Landry with the hat, you knew it was like, oh, that's the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah. Right. You had styles, and same with college football. You had Bobby Bowden. You just had Tom Osborne.
You have that with Nick Saban as a championship level coach who's great,
but his personality isn't bold enough.
He's curmudgeon-y.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. He's kind of vanilla.
Yeah,
and there's not much person. Mike Leach was one with personality. That's why rest in peace, Coach Leach. But
he was not a championship level coach. He was still a great.
Who knows? He might have got there, but who knows?
Jim Harbaugh, you're right. Really could become one of those dudes. It's like. There's a true icon of an era.
Like, can you imagine him at 20 years and like Ohio State fans will only hate him more and more. And he's got the glasses and like they could build statues of the khakis, the glasses. Everyone could dress like him in the future. It's a style. He is better for college football.
You just busted your nut, right? Now you have a little like moment of post nut clarity. You're thinking, all right, make the next move. But if it's the Chargers, it's lame as fuck. Right.
Very lame. And that's not going to work out either because his personality is going to clash with Spanos over a few years.
Yeah.
He'll be back in college football with another NFL team.
Yeah. The Raiders in a dome, lame.
Yeah. Very lame. I know the Raiders gave him a start. Raiders actually, if it was in Oakland, would actually fit.
Yeah.
Yes. But no, now it's completely ruined. I know you welcome to UAB is saying Patriots. That would probably be my second best vote.
I don't want to hate him.
Yeah. But I'm just saying that
would be all right.
It would be better than pretty much every other team. You can't do the Commanders.
The Patriots need to suck for a while for me to ever like start liking them again. They're just.
I'm just saying, like, I'll accept that.
It's much better than the others. Yeah.
Shout out to Jake who gave us $10. Says long overdue. Much love, boys. Go blue. There you go.
Boom.
Thank you, brother. And shout out to Virgil. Says the fucking Washington Redskins need a coach. See, but I can't have him be a part of the Commanders. You know what I mean? And I don't know who the Commanders are. But
he could be the type of dude that demands they go back to the Redskins. But
that wouldn't happen.
Too big of
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Stay away. Think about this. This is perfect for college football. If he stays at Michigan, says fuck you NCAA, battles the NCAA.
I want him to stay at Michigan and then him to beat Ryan Day one more time and then Urban Meyer come back to Ohio State.
Yes.
And a real 10-year war happened.
But you see my point. Is there not much like when you look around college football, I don't even think Saban really fits that. Like Bear Bryant fit it much more than Saban because he had an identity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, Saban's
Southern,
a little too vanilla. Yeah. But there's not much of that going on. So
Saban's got his own thing. I think
a little bit. It's more because he's dominant.
We fail to like acknowledge what Saban is, And, what is Saban? What makes him cool? He's probably a good guy. I think he probably bends the rules quite a bit, but at the bottom end of the day, he's just a humble, like,
so what characters do you really
dude.
have left? You have like, not many though. I wouldn't define Saban as a character. Like he's kind of turned in. He's good for the sport, but I'm saying like Harbaugh is great in my opinion for the sport, whether you like Michigan or not. Well, that's what's great. So many people fucking hate him. Right. It's like when I hated Spurrier.
Right.
I hated Spurrier, and then he went away, and then I go, damn it.
Especially,
I wish we had him back
as part of a brand like Michigan, and he fits the Michigan brand perfectly. Run the ball, play great defense, etc. Fucking Saban kind of fits Alabama, even though he's not Southern. Like, I guess he's from West Virginia, but he doesn't come across as Southern. But he's humble, and Alabama is like their uniforms are humble. He's a good fit in like.
It's the same way I don't
making
want
Alabama this like this. What's the word I'm looking for? Just inevitable fucking identity. This Roll Tide thing. That's kind of what Saban's doing with Alabama. But
shout out to Welcome to UAB who gave us $10. Appreciate it, man. Welcome to UAB is the man. Appreciate you. I mean, he's the fucking man.
You guys are fucking awesome.
But there's not much of it, right? There's not much of it. Like Kirby Smart is a phenomenal fucking coach, but I just he hasn't.
He could keep it up.
Yeah, he could maybe like. I actually think Dabo's ahead of him in the Spurrier hatred rankings.
Scumbag.
Like, I don't hate Kirby Smart.
Yeah, Kirby Smart though. I'll tell you what.
Like it's good to be hated.
Hearing those clips of him like cursing up a storm, a tirade of cursing. And then
the speeding shit at Georgia, but still
that going along with
it's got to go farther. It's got to go farther.
Well, the Georgia fans doing the woof 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 woof, like they can become a really obnoxious thing over time.
But we need that though. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's like we need that in the sport.
Wait, that's what Kirby Smart could be. I've heard rumors of him going to the Falcons. It's like, dude, if you're from Georgia, like he's not going to do shit on the Falcons. You really want him to stay at the Bulldogs. He needs to stay.
Welcome to UAB. Said that charge came off my ex-wife's credit card. Well,
boom.
Please,
well done.
Please feel free to throw more there.
Yeah. Swipe.
Brian says you watch him. Kirby's the best thing that's happened to Georgia. No, for you, sure. He needs to build on it though. I want him to dive more into being an asshole.
Yeah.
Like
that's what we get off.
That's what I'm saying. Like Dabo, I actually, as much as I dislike Dabo and Clemson, I love it. I love it there. I'm like, stay, because he keeps saying everything about the. He showed up with a black eye to the basketball game the other day. Absolutely phenomenal. And I want Kirby to stay at Georgia, but I just need him to get a little more fuck you behind him.
Yeah.
There's not much out there anymore.
A little more public with it.
Yeah. Yep. Everyone, it's just vanilla. And I feel like college football that I got into as a kid, you had like just
characters
crazy
galore.
Personalities. Yeah. Even the NFL too. Like the NFL back then.
Well, that's unquestionably less
so
colorful than it was.
I really hope Harbaugh comes back and sticks it to the NCAA and says, let's repeat. What do you think the odds of that happening?
They're going to get rolled against that schedule next year. That is a fucking hard ass schedule. So it's probably a good time for him to leave.
Back? He needs to come back too, in my opinion.
He probably should. We were talking about that. He's not like
he's never consistently accurate. He throws some super accurate passes sometimes.
It hits a dime every now and then, but it's like, you got to be consistent with that shit in the NFL. He's not gonna. He'll flame out if he leaves now. I think he needs to come back.
Yeah,
because what would he be like? At best, a third rounder?
No, I've heard people say late first round.
That's ridiculous.
I don't know if I believe it, but you can never gauge anything with the quarterbacks.
Yeah,
sometimes
people get desperate.
Like, what?
Yeah.
They drafted him here?
Yeah. Jason Campbell, like first round. I was like, what?
JP Lossman, right? Wasn't he first round? Or was that Patrick Ramsey? No, it's Patrick Ramsey.
Oh, was
right?
Ramsey?
Even with that, I watched Tulane and I was like, whoa, he went first round. I hope Harbaugh stays, man. It's just so much better. And Greg Kalish in the chat, I think everything has become less fun and pussified from when we were younger. That's true. That is true. Fair. But what do you think the odds are? 50%, 30%?
I think it's less. I think I put it around
that he comes back or that he goes.
I think it's a pretty good chance he's gone.
I do too.
In like a week, he'll be gone. It sucks, but hey, he got it done. He brought Michigan back.
So who is it? Sherrone Moore, because he's leaving them high and dry, like late in the year. It's got to be Sherrone Moore.
I heard Brian Kelly rumors. I know he just got Bryce Underwood, the number one player in the nation from Detroit.
Kelly?
Because he won big at Grand Valley State. He won big, I guess, big enough at Central Michigan.
Now, he's like kind of on the hot seat in Baton Rouge.
Year 2, he's on the Well, that's true. But he did pretty well at Notre Dame for a while. He brought them back to relevance.
Harbaugh deserves to stay at Michigan. I can't see Sherrone Moore deserves it if he's not going to be there. But at the same time, and no disrespect to Sherrone Moore, I actually think he'll be a fine coach wherever he goes. But I just like the glasses, the khakis. It fits Michigan.
Is a great thing.
Yeah, a fucking Jim Harbaugh press conference is like trying to break down a fucking foreign submarine code or some shit. You know what I mean? Like you're just like, what the fuck is he even talking about?
Dude is zoning out at all hours of the day. Anyway, let's get back to this fucking game.
Yeah. Okay. So,
what else is there to talk about?
Yeah, I was about to say, what are you fucking talking about here?
Quintessential Michigan performance.
Shocked at 13 points. Really shocked at 13 points, to tell you the truth. I would have put a lot of money on the fact that they would have at least scored 28.
Yeah.
At least 28.
Yeah. I thought Washington they just missed open shots. I mean, that's what their offense is based on, is hitting those kind of streaks down the middle, down the sideline. They were showing another one that there was a wide open guy going down the seam, and he just checks down to the whatever fullback.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they even have a fullback, but either way, not Penix's best game, certainly.
How about this one though? Welcome to UAB. Welcome to UAB. Says Smash Mouth football is so back. But anyone who runs the ball next year, these high school recruits are used to the spread. They don't know how to handle the power eye. We've said this for a while, and I heard Kirby Smart talk about this last year after he won the national championship. I don't know what the fuck I was watching. I was watching something where he was talking about. It was like a sit down. It wasn't like a post game. It was like something in the summer months where he was saying that he modeled Georgia after he thought that curve was happening, where everyone's gone spread. We're going to become more of a power team, especially on the line of scrimmage, and
zig when they zag.
And that was his blueprint to Georgia winning national. This is what he said. I mean,
it's pretty apparent that that's what happened.
Yeah,
you know, they steamrolled teams with physicality.
Yeah. No, I mean, you watched that Michigan Georgia playoff game a couple years ago. Oh my! Like from the start, I was like, whoo!
Being able to recruit 1 million 5-star big guys helps. You know, and
but I'm just glad that. Look, I think it's cool that the spread happened and the air raid and all that shit, but it's overkill to me. You know, I agree with Welcome to UAB. Like, I love Jim Harbaugh in college football with that smash mouth team and fucking up Ohio State the way they did when they were like kind of the, you know, the pansy passing team with other first round NFL wideouts. I thought it was beautiful over the past couple of years.
Yeah,
I hope it continues to build in this direction.
Well, college football, you know, I think the NFL kind of got to that point a little earlier in terms of just making the game the most efficient version of itself. But college football with the spread offense kind of has caught up there, and now,
I'd say the NFL is even like too much on the passing
side. Yeah, I would agree with that. But the passing, there was a lot of, you know, ability to pass the ball that hadn't been exploited yet. And so the spread offense kind of opened that up, and the whole game adjusted according to it. But it is cyclical, you know. And here it comes, where you know it's beneficial to run the ball a little more based on how much everyone's passing it. So it's funny. You saw what Saban said in his interview regarding Michigan huddling.
Yeah,
that's fucking hilarious. I never thought of that. That it would be like beneficial to like come out of a huddle and immediately be in a position where the defense doesn't have much time to react to your formation, your alignment. Whereas I guess if you're, you know, lining up a no huddle and kind of like moving around, they have more time actually to adjust to you. So Harbaugh's, you know, by going old school ahead on.
I loved it at Stanford when he did that shit at Stanford. And fucking Toby Gerhardt running. Oh yeah, I loved it. I would have loved to seen a big playoff with them in it. And so that's why I'm saying, like, I didn't grow up a Michigan fan by any means, but I did grow up a fan of Jim Harbaugh. I thought he always played to win, and
Captain Comeback.
Yeah, he was kind of a quarterback that wasn't a pussy.
Yeah,
and that's very rare.
You know punched Jim Kelly in the face.
Fucking fantastic.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. This is what I'm talking about. This is what you get.
Yeah,
this is what you get. Please stay in college football, Jim. Please take your suspension. Fight it in court with Michigan.
Michigan money. Michigan backing.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. You just want a natty. You'll get some more money. Fight it, baby. Let's go. Shout out to Greg Callis. Just said, would love for defense and running the ball to make a comeback. Amen.
Speaking of which, Blake Corum, 100+ rushing yards, 2 touchdowns. Donovan Edwards, 100+ rushing yards.
On 3 rushes. What was his stat line?
6 rushes, 104 yards, 2 touchdowns, 17.3 yards per rush for Donovan Edwards. JJ McCarthy ran the ball pretty well, dude. Michigan averaged 8 yards a rush in this game.
And they still, like, I know that final score says 21, but like, you let that holding penalty doesn't happen. I don't know that they definitely win it.
Yeah.
I mean, they were the better team tonight. Don't get me wrong, but it was almost like the Bama game 2.0 where you're like, you watch Michigan dominate a first half.
Yeah.
And you're like, how the fuck is this game close?
Yeah.
But
they got some problems giving away, but I do think maybe moving forward, I think this game, the stage of Alabama with all their experience and their, you know, mystique in the Rose Bowl was probably a lot more for Michigan to handle. I think they were probably more relaxed in this game. And moving forward, now that the monkey's off the back, especially if Harbaugh stays, I don't think they probably make these kind of mistakes as much moving forward. But they do seem mistake prone in these fucking big games.
Yeah, they do. All right, folks. Well, look, we're gonna have a couple more thoughts, but before
we
we do
talking
that,
FCS here, or
yeah, give me 1 second though.
Okay.
I want to tell the good folks out there that the college football experience is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Look, Underdog Fantasy is a way to play alongside your favorite fantasy players all season long. They got NFL, NBA, NHL, college basketball, college football. Simply pick higher or lower your favorite players' fantasy stats and cash in. So watch along, make picks, and maybe make a little extra cash over on Underdog Fantasy's mobile app or website. So when you sign up with the promo code SGPN, Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's Underdog Fantasy. Promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets. The sports betting world has just never been the same since Hall of Fame Bets dropped. Win bigger by betting smarter this NFL postseason with Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting analytics platform for parlays, player props, and game lines. Research every NFL, NBA, and soccer bet with historical stats and data. Stop betting in the dark and join over 30,000 users researching with Hall of Fame Bets to craft more intelligent, data-driven parlays. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit HOFBets.com. Use that promo code SGPN to get 50% off your first month today. Start researching, start winning with Hall of Fame Bets. Patty C, we did have the FCS National Championship. And it is hold on. Shout out to Welcome UAB. Welcome to UAB saying we are just 2 years away from the Flexbone triple option being considered innovating football. Yes. And shout out to Army bringing back. They ditched that foo bullshit they were running. We're going back to the triple option.
Let's go. That number 25.
I'm rushing. Back to being a huge Army fan.
Back to the top 3 of rushing. Let's go.
Let's go. FCS National Championship happened. And we saw dominance. Now this was a statistical anomaly in my opinion, because 23-3 was the final. I had Montana plus 13.5 and 14. I bet it again when it went up to 14. And I really feel like this should have covered, especially when you dive into the stats. I think it was 104-yard advantage for South Dakota State. They did not they definitely were the better team, much like tonight. South Dakota State deserves the national championship, but we deserve the cover in my opinion.
Yeah.
Goal line stop on a 4th and 1 or 4th and goal that he scores right there. We cover.
Montana had a couple other plays. I'm not remembering off the top of my head that.
I know you were pissed drunk. It's okay.
The breaks weren't going there. I'm not going to lie. Like once South Dakota State got up significantly, I kind of was going back and forth between the NFL and the FCS. So maybe I'm not picked Dundee here. I can't dial in that much to the FCS, but South Dakota State, comfortably in the lead. Montana had opportunities, and then the breaks just didn't go their way that much.
Rob Donaldson, friend of the program, he says, "Why do I always feel like the favorite wins in the college football national championship, regardless of the sport? Who was the last underdog to win it outright?"
Well, I don't know.
Was Clemson favored over LSU? No, LSU was. Right?
Actually, today
that wasn't the Natty either.
Today was the first time of the 4 times that the number 1 and number 2 had met in the college football playoff invitational national championship game. This was the first time the 1 seed beat the 2 seed. The other times, Clemson beat Bama twice as the 2 seed, and Bama being the 1 seed, and then the other time Bama beat Clemson.
But what was the gambling line? Because that might be different.
Oh, is the
GBO Farm says, "What's the NFL? FCS for life." I agree.
True.
That's an interesting stat because he's talking about even college basketball. I feel like I'd have to go back and look. What was that Carolina Kansas spread? Who the fuck was favored in that one?
Had to be Kansas. Right?
It was just 2 years ago, right? 3 years ago?
I don't remember off the top of my head. But Carolina was like a fucking 8 seed or something?
Yeah.
They came out of the blue.
That's true. And Kansas won. They came back.
Yeah.
It's a good point. I don't know off the top of my head.
South Dakota State rolling along 2 in a row. North Dakota State probably doesn't like that much.
I like South Dakota State. I mean, I took Montana, but I enjoy them stealing the spotlight away from North Dakota State to intensify that rivalry.
I agree. Cooler mascot, Jackrabbits or Bison?
Jackrabbits.
Bold statement. Both
are great. Both are great for football. That rivalry is amazing.
Yeah. Hey, you mentioned this pre-episode here. SDSU starts the season off with who?
at Oklahoma State.
At Oklahoma State. Big
North
12
Dakota State
championship participant, Oklahoma State.
North Dakota State's at Colorado. Coach Prime.
Coach Prime coming to the Big 12. Maybe would end up winning the Big 12 in year one. How bad would it be if North Dakota State beats them? And you think that if both of those happen, the Big 12 should immediately invite.
They should, but they won't.
They won't.
It'll be like the Mountain West that will do it or something. Or the
Mountain West should.
Something. Folks, this is the college football experience. Thanks for rocking with us all year. Shout out to Michigan. I know Noah Beanick is probably I think 3 Jello shots deep in his LeBaron.
Speaking of which, do you have
not
keys?
Not driving. No, I don't, buddy. They're out there.
I need keys. I gotta go get keys.
No, we gotta go. We need to get in here.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna slam this fucking beer.
Sports Gambling Podcast is coming. Hey, don't adjust your sets. It's gonna go right into it. If you're watching on YouTube, youtube.com/the college experience. Give Patty C a follow on Twitter at PattyC831. I'm on Twitter at TheColbyD. The college football experience is on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. And subscribe on YouTube, youtube.com/the college experience. Until next time, folks, this is the college football experience. We'll be back talking college hoops. So SGP show next, then college hoops.
Hail to the victors valiant.
On the college basketball experience. Until next time, you better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.